Hey, how's it going? I guess look at my signs first. Let me see if I can shed some more light that way. There. Okie dokie. So, hold on a second. Oopsie. What the heck was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So I have a card that I pulled from the Declarations of Mary Magdalene deck. And, boy, I don't know why I'm so hesitant. Okay, so here's the deal. I just have the one card that I pulled because I was just really having a feelings day. And, boy, I wanted to go online and just, do what I normally do, look at stuff and, give likes and reposts and things and just sort of appreciate the things that are there. And, I'm probably not the only one that feels this way, but I make a comment here and there, not as much as I start out to. Like, I'll start to comment and go, you know what? Maybe no. A lot of reasons why not that I'm sure apply to everyone. What in the world is that? Hold on, there's something in the picture bothering me. Oh, okay, anyway. So, I'm just stating my opinion. I'm not, doing it to be adversarial, It's not personal to the poster. Usually the stuff I'll be commenting on is, being against the war or something that the government is doing that I just disagree with. But I know comparatively to a lot of accounts, I don't spend my whole time doing that. And also, it just depends, what I'm trying not to get at is that sometimes you will post a comment and you will get I don't need everybody to agree with me all the time, but I don't want to argue either. I didn't post it for some other person whose opinion is different to come after me. It's are you on one of the boats or in one of the planes? I can't believe, I'm just going to interrupt myself, to be appalled by the fact that I saw a post. I don't know if it was real or not. You hardly do anymore, especially regarding stuff that is related to the government. But I saw a post that said that paratroopers had been approved to, land in Iran somewhere. And I'm like, that's like shooting fish in a barrel, except they're coming out of the sky. What is wrong with you? Why is it necessary to send people into harm's way? Not for any operational reason, I can tell you that. What my sense is that, and I know I'm not the only one that has this sense, is that the president is taking out his frustrations on people who he's already stated, and this I think is his real belief, not all of the junk he was saying yesterday, making speeches. I think he really does think that anyone that's going to sign up to go, be a soldier, be a service member, and put themselves in potential harm's way, he calls them suckers and losers. Because when he said it, he was speaking to the father of a fallen vet at that guy's kid's, grave, and he tells the guy, the general that used to be on his cabinet in the first term, that he thought they were losers and suckers because they died in the war. It's like, do you think it's a video game? these are actual lives, but he's, I don't think, ever been in a conflict where he didn't whine, cry, bitch, moan, scream, yell, throw food until he just like cowed everybody else into just like, oh my god, I don't even want to fight with this idiot. Like it didn't even, I don't think, it wasn't because of right or wrong in the argument anymore. It was just like, I'm just going to be bigger and louder and stupider until you give up and I won. And it's like, no, it's like, God, shut up. I'm getting out of here to get away from you. I strongly feel like that dynamic exists with this guy. So, I'm allowed to have my opinion and make my comment, and so excuse me if I don't want to argue with you and fight about it. So that happened today. I made a comment about people not doing their jobs, and I was referring to the politicians because, yeah, we can vote, I guess, but that's not for like a year. And so, or not a year, I don't know, but it's months and months away. And so that just doesn't feel like we're doing anything, but, they came back with e pluribus unum, and I was like, suck my dick. What's that gonna do? What can any of us do? Like, now you said that. What's changed? Nothing. We do not have the mechanism to call a no confidence vote and get him out of there. We won't follow our own laws regarding who's subject to them or not. And then they try to say, oh, it's because he was in office. And then they found a million reasons not to prosecute him. Well, I mean, he did get counts charged against him, but he didn't do any time. He didn't do any punishment. He went right back to being the damn president. That is nutsy, cuckoo, crazy. Are we high? I think we might be. I think we're impaired. But, I mean, I'm still following the laws that are on the books. Like, none of what this guy's doing is, like, 100% legal. Like, if anything, it's temporary legal if it's by executive order. That's not a law. That hasn't been legislated. A lot of the decisions he's making have not been legislated. So to me, they're not valid. And a lot of other people feel the same way because we have to still observe the law. He's just doing whatever he wants. All of his team are just like, well, we're just going to do this. And then the legislators that are supposed to be on top of it are like, okay, go ahead and do it. Or something, because they're sure not getting in the way of anything. The Democrats can't really do a whole lot except go out to their constituents and throw their weight around and help their communities, which is what I've been saying for months and months and months, but they rather stay in Washington and grandstand, I guess. And let me be clear, there are some that are more vocal and, like, at least, trying to, put up some kind of a fight. They can't really be effective because they also don't have the means to really do much about it. So I was just like, I don't have time for this bullshit today. Like, it was just one of those not today days. And I told that person, I'm not going to play games with you. You know who's responsible. You know damn well who should be taking care of this. And then they came back with that e pluribus unum crap. And I was like, you heard. I'm not going to repeat it all again, but and I just blocked him because luckily in that particular arena, you can do that. I don't like to. It's become way too easy to just be out, I don't like that, I don't like that, I don't like that, I don't like that. It's something that I think about. Because that's very dismissive to just be out. I don't like what you said. Block, go away forever. And you can unblock it, but it's a stranger. Why? What do you owe them? Nothing, really. I mean, I often feel like it's better I block you than indulge in cursing you out or something stupid, because, again, who cares about you? I really care about myself, especially in that space, because I don't, as far as I know, on Blue Sky, I don't know anybody personally that's on there, so it's hard to care too much. I mean, I'm not going to just be mean and just be name-calling and tearing people down. I'm not going to do that under any circumstances if I can avoid it, because it just, nothing good comes from it. The person that delivers all that noise doesn't get much more from it than the person that is under the attack. And I don't know, there have got to be better ways to problem solve. So, but yeah, it was weird. Like, it was a very strange thing. It was very strongly, like, almost like making your stomach sick from, you know, swinging back and forth. But it was like, I love you, I love you, I love you. Thank you. I followed you. Thanks for, you know, reposting my. And then the other way, it was like, you know, that one person, but still, like, very, like, you know, growling and snarling kind of feel to it. So there were a lot of things where I did that thing, a lot of posts that I just kind of scrolled on past, because I was like, ooh, it feels like if I dip into that and say anything, it's going to be more of what already happened, and I don't want any more of that. It was just, like I said, it was a very feelings day. So after the incident, I looked at a couple more things, but I had lost my taste for it. The incident, it wasn't even that. It was just that interaction with that person that I ended up blocking, kind of just tried to stay with me for a long time, and I was like, I don't want that either. So I finally had to just, like, get off of there for a while and do something completely else. But I'm glad I did, because today the world accommodated me outside of my apartment. I could actually leave. It was dry. It was warm enough that I actually went to go get my mail barefoot. I wasn't walking. I mean, I'm a wheelchair person, but I was out there barefoot, which it was still pretty cold, I have to say. You know, I am from LA originally, and I now live in the northern region of my country, the lower 48, and so the weather is different. That's what I wanted, so I came here. But just when I think I'm acclimated, no. But I think it was more about having like a cold or COVID that just won't end. Like, I don't have like full-on COVID, but I feel like the recovery has just been going on and on and on. And I know I've caught a cold a couple of times, if that's what it was. Like, I don't even know anymore, because it's been pretty continuous since last July. I've had like some sort of respiratory thing, and I think that, and you know, I have to say my body is kind of beat up. I've taken a lot of falls from like riding bikes and skateboarding, like serious falls that, you know, the after effects stay with you for years. Like, if you break a bone and the weather changes to cold and wet, every place that you did something to is going to let you know, hey, the weather's changing. So, I think that might have had an effect on why it felt so hard to go out. I did go out a couple of times because I had to, and it was like, you would have thought there was a, you know, 30 below blizzard outside. All I had to do was go from my apartment door to a car with a heater in it, you know, and then to, you know, be outside for as long as it took to get from the car to the next designation. So, designation? Location. To the next location. Yeah, anyway. It's kind of tiring. Like, the news, I feel like, is just battering me. And, like, everyone else is just getting smacked around. and it's going to ramp up. And I mean, a lot of it you can directly place the source of your misery. It's not hard to find someone to blame. And this is not one of those situations where it's inappropriate to have a blame to place. This is a real thing. Like, the decisions being made right now are uninformed, are driven by emotion and ego, which is not what you should be doing when you have the responsibility of other people's lives and you're planning on just using them like pogs or something dispensable. People don't like that. The parents don't, the spouses don't, the offspring don't. Like, no one likes you taking people's lives for granted, like doing stuff that's gonna put people's lives in danger for what seems to be not much. It's very emotional. So other stuff happened today, and then there's other stuff going on that's not politics. There's, of course, the Epstein stuff, but even beyond that, like Savannah Guthrie's mother's being kidnapped. That is like a kind of a big deal. Like, a lot of people are kind of, locked in on that and it's worrying, well, whatever the circumstances come out to be in the end, it's just a worrying thing. Because that they said right away that she didn't have her medication, and so she didn't have her medication, and that was going to have a final outcome without the medication to her life, and presumably that's what's happened. And she hasn't been located. Her presumed remains haven't, and people care. People get attached to or used to their morning show hosts. They're part of their routine. You almost feel like there's a back and forth, and that's deliberate. They want to draw you in. So, people are invested. I'm not like a follower of that show. I haven't watched it in years, but I get it. I get why it's heartbreaking and it fills you with anxiety. It fills me with anxiety. And then, I don't know, go to your purveyor of news on your device and then hit scroll and then randomly hit something. That's not all. It's not all bad news either, though. Let's get a perspective here. Thank goodness there's plenty of other news out there. This is just what gets peddled to us the most widely, and I feel like we're just kind of primed to look for that, primed to accept it before anything else. Which is kind of sad, but it depends on what generation you are, too, If you're like me and the television was your babysitter, it makes sense to have this thing in front of me all the time that I'm sharing my life with. But I'm very happy to see that younger people who will be in charge in a flash are migrating away from, like, the obsessive use of the things. Thank God. Because then they'll be able to think straight. I can, like, put it down, and I can also recall a time where there was no computing device of any kind that was in your house that you just had and did everything with and had to depend on. Like, I don't like that, because it needs electricity and it needs the Wi-Fi or whatever to function the way you need it to. And so there's a lot of reasons why that can go away, and then you're back to book learning and pencil and paper. So that would not be a shock to me. And I'm just remembering when I had one of my nieces when she was like, I don't know, 6 or 7, and I was she was doing math homework, but I was trying to show her a way to do the adding or whatever it was by using a clock, because you can, do like pie chart stuff with it and fraction stuff with it. And I was she didn't know how to tell time with the arms of the clock. She'd only grown up with digital clocks. And she was like, I don't need to know that. And I'm like, you don't know that. You're 7. You don't know what the hell you need to know. This is, she would not hear it, man. I swear. Sometimes I have such a dissonance with trying to say stuff to people. That kid was just, I don't want to know, I don't want to know, I don't want to know. And I'm like, that is stupid. You need to know things. That's not what I said to her, but that is the sound of the frustration I had at the time. And so, of course she didn't realize what I was talking about, because she hadn't reached the point where she would understand how fractions of a pie chart and a clock and time would all have something to do with each other. And the little bitch wouldn't let me tell her. So, and I meet adults like that all the time. I don't know what's up with that. I don't even know, why did I start talking about that again? I don't know. It just was like I guess a difficult communication day too, but not with everyone. Like I interacted with not like a lot of people online, but several, like direct conversations back and forth, or like word exchanges. I don't know. So anyway, I'm trying to wrap it up here. So I have this card I pulled from the Declarations of Mary Magdalene deck, and it says, love, wisdom, and power is the song of God within thy sacred heart. When one recognizes their power is the power of love, in truth, grace, and inner wisdom. So, this is like making me think of what I was talking about, like dealing with my niece. Because, my impulse is like, I love you, you're my niece. I want to show you things that will enhance your little brain. And I want to show you like a hack to doing the math and learning how to tell time and making it all easy, because you will kind of know both. And but believe me, it did not start out complicated. I know to talk to a 7-year-old, you don't want to get all complicated, and you don't have to explain yourself, but this kid was one of those ones, for whatever reason, like, I think I've run into this in my family, so I imagine it's a thing elsewhere, because I've been in the store and heard the "shut up, mom" kid. So they were not raised the way I was, where there really was a saying that went, children should be seen and not heard, and you were only allowed to speak when you are spoken to. So that wasn't cool, but it can't be from that to shut up, mom. There's got to be a middle ground. Everybody has got to have some respect for each other. And so, also, I guess, let me just be clear. It's the way the people are raising their kids. And so when you have a child that you confide in as if they are another adult, but they are not. They are your child, and they are your kind of fucked up child because of your substance history. To me, I don't think it's appropriate to be talking to your kid like they're an adult and talking about the other person who was me, who was an adult, who had not really spoken or spent time with the other adult in like 20 plus years, and they're in there telling the kid, like, because this is what the kid reported back to me, like they just said it, like I'm sure it wasn't their plan, but are a nasty person already, right? So they're like, my mom said that you have a mess and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I know this kid pisses the bed. Should I throw that in her face? No, I did not do that. So, like, don't send a child that you talk to like an adult to go talk to another an adult. And I'm not the one that talks baby talk to kids, because they're not babies. They understand way more than we're willing to give them credit for as children. Can you look back and remember that you were not an idiot yourself when you were a child? So I just speak to them like a person, like another human being, but not another adult, because I know that there's a lot that they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They don't have the depth of experience. So I'm not going to, like, drop that all on them. It's not their responsibility, and it's inappropriate. So when you send your kid out and they're talking to adults like adults, don't be surprised if they get an adult response back, which is what happened. And then, the other adults are like, oh, no, don't do that, and I'm like, you do you. I'm not, putting up with that crap. But for all of the parties involved, in order to maintain order, I feel like you have to conduct yourself, or sort of edit yourself in a lot of ways, because you don't want to just say something mean and stupid and rude, like, just right. I mean, I don't. Well, who wants to start off like that? Like, if you start off like that, everything that follows is going to be shitty. Like, you don't want to do that, in my opinion. So, you have power, the power to, like, hold back because you love these people, whatever the fault. And apparently, I definitely feel like I can name some faults. I feel like I have. And so clearly that can go the other way. But why start out adversarial? I feel like ultimately you want everyone to have a good time in each other's company. So I feel like this is just a good reminder, whether it's family or somebody online social or in-person social. You can make a little bit of an effort to not, I mean, it shouldn't even be an effort. You shouldn't even have to try not to, like, be hurtful when you're speaking to someone, but we're not, and I'm including myself, we're not all, like, perfect at, controlling our behaviors. Sometimes we screw up and, act badly, or we're not cool, or however you want to phrase it, But it's always up to us. We have the choice always on how we behave to one another, which, we could even look at each other and call it the materialization of, as above, so below, or, as in the mirror, as in the other person, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're enough alike that we should be able to find it in ourselves to just be nice to each other. Yeah, and I am speaking to myself too, so, but I already had that in mind. I already don't just be calling people names. I mean, if they did something wrong, isn't that enough? They did something wrong. You gotta call them names too. All right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go. I'm done. Can't even talk anymore. Thank you and good night.